Whether you're watching, listening or reading this, welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we are on a mission to raise £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days the distance of one lap around the planet. It's a staggering 40,075 kilometres. It's going to take somewhere in the region of 10 to 15 years, depending on how many miles I cover each week. I'm even going to do it barefoot style, and there'll be a few world record attempts thrown into the mix for good measure. So those of you who are regular listeners will know that I vlog about all things entrepreneurship and running, and it is a very, very windy day today. Super gusty out here today. Not the best running conditions I've experienced, but hopefully you can still hear the audio. And it is Sunday Run Day today, where we discuss all things running, exercise based. And today's topic is the hunger scale. So as always, if you like this episode, give it a like and a subscribe, and let's get started. So, the hunger scale. Now, it's not directly linked to running. I know it's Sunday Run Day, but it's about diet and food consumption, which has such an impact on your ability to exercise and perform. So, which is why I'm covering it today. And this is one that I struggle with. You wouldn't believe it, but I struggle with it probably more than many. And it's ultimately listening to your body. I mean, the problem that most of us have, or those of us who eat more than we should, normally the big problem is that we eat through habit. It's like, or we eat through boredom. I think it's been more so apparent during the lockdown that lockdown number 3. I think it's more apparent in the lockdown that people have been so bored with nothing to do that the number of people I know that have kind of would openly admit that they've eaten their way through lockdown. I mean, they've put on weight, they've not done enough exercise, but they've eaten more. The reason they've eaten more is because they're stuck at home with nothing to do, and it's like a comfort, isn't it, to kind of make you feel better. You eat something, you know, I do for certain. If I've had a bad day or something, and so a lot of people resort to alcohol to kind of chill themselves and make them feel better. I'll often just eat a load of rubbish food, and I know it's like punishing myself, but it kind of makes you feel a bit dirty, but kind of satisfied in a dirty way, if that makes sense. And it's a good way to kind of, you know, almost relieve those pressures. But that's kind of what I do. I mean, other people just eat and eat and eat, and for the sake of eating, and not know when they're full, not know when they need to stop, and it does have an ongoing impact on their kind of health, because they start putting on weight. So, just a little bit of a higher level here. We all know that diets, you know, to lose weight, it's really, really simple, no matter what diet you go on. It's calories, intake of calories versus kind of output of calories. So how many calories have you consumed versus how many have you burned? And there's varying different statistics about how many calories you should intake for a male and female. Some people say 2,000 for a male, 1,500 for a female. It's very, very relevant to your body mass, your size, your weight, all those side of things. So you can't put an exact figure on it, but generally speaking, you need to understand that there is a variance. But as a general rule, if you eat under 2,000 calories as a man, or you eat 1,500 or less as a female, you should maintain your level of weight. If you do a lot of exercise on top of that, and you burn a load of extra calories, then it's almost like consuming, say you burn 500 calories, it's like consuming 1,000 when you take the net result that your calories are burned against your calories consumed. It means that you're only positive 1,000 calories for that day, so it means you lose weight. And vice versa, if you ate or consumed 2,500 calories and did nothing in terms of exercise, then you're going to be sitting at a deficit of 500 calories, which means you'll put on weight. So that's the kind of understanding. And the problem people have is with calorie consumption is the biggest issue here is your mind, there's a lag between what your stomach says and what your mind tells you. Okay, so the reason people eat is because there's a 20-minute period whereby your belly, the message that you're full, it can often take 20 minutes for your mind to process that you're full, to tell you to stop eating. Okay, so if you just wait until you feel too full, you're too full, and 20 minutes later you'll be way too full because you've overeaten, because there's that lag. People don't realise this, it takes 20 minutes. So when you eat something, if you eat a snack, don't eat 2, 3, 4 snacks in one go. Eat one snack, wait 20 minutes, and if you're still hungry after 20 minutes, then have another one. So that's a really quick and easy way to kind of determine this. And the thing that we refer to here is the hunger scale. Okay, I'm no nutritionist, but I've done a bit of reading on this. There's loads of people who talk about different hunger scales. But if you work on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being that you're almost dying of starvation, and 10 being that the example they give is in the US, it's Thanksgiving full. So you've eaten so much, you're comatose, basically you can't move, you've eaten so much. And then you drop down the scale or up the scale depending on where you are. But really you want to stay between 3 and 6. Okay, now 6 is that you feel comfortable and fulfilled. Okay, so that's, you're full, but you don't feel completely full, but you feel comfortable. At that point, you stop eating, okay? Because 20 minutes later, it's highly likely you'll feel completely full and fulfilled in terms of you won't have any more need to keep consuming. If you kept on eating, then 20 minutes later you feel uncomfortably full, which is kind of 7 and 8, into excessively full, which is kind of 9. So understanding the 20-minute lag is so important to this. And at the same time, 1 and 2 is, 1 is you're dying of starvation. 2 is that you're so uncomfortably hungry. I mean, your stomach's rumbling constantly. And number 3 is that you're just hungry. You just feel that you're hungry now, you need to eat. But it's not an uncomfortable feeling. And that's when you eat. You don't eat when because the problem is if you eat when you're at the really low end of the spectrum, you'll kind of be so hungry and you'll just be dreaming about probably the worst foods possible. And you're more highly likely to eat bad food in that mindset because you're so hungry. If you're just hungry, the thought of something healthy will often be as fulfilling as something unhealthy. Whereas if you're too hungry, you always kind of go for the unhealthy options. That's scientific evidence proves this, and it's something that I experience as well. So the aim of the game here is to stay between 3 and 6. Okay, so you start eating at 3, you stop eating at 6. If you do that and you appreciate the 20-minute lag that it takes your stomach to kind of digest food and tell your mind how full you really are, then it's a great way of getting back onto decent eating habits. And it's easier said than done. I mean, just last night alone, we went Easter egg shopping, okay, for the kids and stuff, and we bought a few snacks. It's a Saturday night, so bought a few snacks. I don't drink a lot at all, so normally I'll obviously binge the odd unhealthy snack from time. But my wife, bless her, she bought a couple of packs of these baked on the superstore type premises cookies, and they're horrendously bad for you. So there's a pack of 8. I think the kids and my wife ate 1 each, and I stayed up and watched the boxing last night, and it was the white Povetkin, I think that's how you pronounce his name, fight. So I watched that on pay-per-view, and I ate all 4 of the rest of them. Okay, so 4 of them, that's a whole pack. That's so excessive. It's probably somewhere in the region of 1,000 calories in snacks there. And the worst thing is I justify things to myself because I'm on this crazy challenge of running every day. And even if you run a 5k, it can be anything from kind of 350 to 500 calories, depending on conditions and how hard you've worked, etc. And so I'm always burning calories every day. So I use that as an excuse sometimes, but yesterday I did just over 10k, so somewhere between 750 and 1,000 calorie burn I would say, that I experienced yesterday. But I snacked, 1,000 calorie snack in the evening, which is just, if I wasn't running, I'd be significantly overweight with that kind of habit. Now I don't do it all the time, but I'm just saying that one of those snacks would have been sufficient, but I ate them straight after one another. I didn't give my body enough time, and then 20 minutes later I'm feeling a bit sick because my stomach's telling my mind, you've eaten way too much, you've eaten too much of the bad food, and your mind's now telling you, oh, I don't feel the best. Okay, as a result I didn't have the best night's sleep. Has a knock-on effect. So it all comes down to understanding that 20-second lag, understanding the hunger scale, and really being consciously aware of how hungry you are, and just tell yourself, right, at the moment I haven't eaten breakfast, but I ate so much last night, I'm probably at level 4 at the moment, so I still feel satisfied, maybe even level 5, so I feel full still. I don't feel the need to eat this morning, so it's but I'm consciously aware of that. Whereas if I wasn't, I'd go home and think, oh, it's morning, I'm going to eat anyway, and it's eating for the sake of eating rather than eating when you're listening to your body to eat, and stopping to give your body enough time to process the food to tell you when you're full, rather than just eating until you eventually feel full, which means you're way too full, because 20 seconds later you'll feel even fuller when the rest of the food that's in your system is digested, and it'll be uncomfortably full. So look, I'm no nutritionist here, but I listen to and read a lot of stuff on this, and it's something that I'm working on hard. I was really good at it a few months back, and I was really good, but as soon as you slip into that bad habit, and it's the process of habits again, you get into a habit, and everybody talks about reinforcing good habits, but you've got to break the bad ones, and I'm fully aware of this, so I'm now conditioning myself every day to think about this, so that when I would normally sit down and think, I'm going to eat a snack, or which normally the cue is my wife will regularly just go and get a snack, but she can have one and stop, but that is the cue that often gets me to go, yeah, I'll go get a snack, and I'll get a pack of snacks, and I'll sit there and just munch my way through them all, and it's working out how can I overcome that cue. So I'm trying to use my wife's cue to replace it with something. So whereas it was before just a pack of unhealthy snacks, now it's, or multi-pack of unhealthy snacks, it's now like sushi or something, fruit, something that I kind of condition. But the problem I have is that, again, I'll go to cupboards in the house and I know what's in there, I see it, and that's the cue for me to grab it. So it's almost like getting her to hide these cues, which means I can act in an appropriate manner rather than an unhealthy and inappropriate manner. So anyway, really waffly, informal topic today, but hopefully this will resonate with many of you. I know a lot of people have struggled with this, and this is how I'm dealing with it. I also consume a gallon of water a day, so that helps as well, because I wash it through my system a lot quicker. Water consumption is super important, and if you get that right, it can help improve your metabolism and keep your digestive system in a faster state or a more efficient state. So consumption of water is another good way to kind of help with this, and also by drinking so much water you feel fuller rather than needing to go for additional food. But that's pretty much it for me today. So if I was summarising this episode, I would say that understand the 20-minute lag between your stomach and your mind. Okay, understand that. If you understand that, everything else becomes easier, especially when stopping eating anyway. This will stop you overeating, but the other thing to do is understand the hunger scale of when to start eating and when to stop eating. If you do that, then you make a huge difference to yourself. The third one is understanding the bad habits, understanding the cues and the cravings that come with them, and how you can override them. Really, really important to kind of understand that too. So, hope that's useful. As always, if you've got any questions on this stuff, drop me a comment. I'll respond to every one. If there's a bigger question, I'll do a separate vlog episode and tag you in. As always, check out the links in my bios. You can watch, listen and read these episodes, and also keep up to date with my challenge of raising £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days, the distance of one lap around the world. Truly epic challenge, but such a worthwhile one that's so close to my heart. So do keep posted on the challenge updates. And all I have to say is that the Runpreneur vlog, the content I talk about, was always geared around helping people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise, or in my case running, as a release mechanism to relieve those daily, weekly pressures in the form of stress, clear your head, process what's going on, get clarity of where you are and refocus and move on. If you don't have this process in place, then those pressures in the form of stress will evolve to overwhelm. Overwhelmed when you've got too much going on and you almost have a seizure or you freeze. Too much going on, you start procrastinating. And when you get to that stage, it gets worse and worse and it turns to panic and anxiety attacks. And then you're into the realms of mental health challenges, which clearly we want to avoid. Now, there's no coincidence that in the past 10 months of doing this running vlog, which is my release mechanism, I've made more progress in my life in all areas than I have in the previous 4 years. There's no coincidence that this stuff works. This stuff really works. So hopefully there's enough social proof there. Because before that, I've been in situations where I've been in that position of anxiety and panic, and I've lost businesses because of it, I've lost business partners, and I've almost been bankrupt because of it. And it's a horrible, horrible position to be in. I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. And I always said that if I could help just one person or one business through my experiences in this vlog, it's been 1,000,000% worthwhile. So my pledge to you is that if you are struggling with this, drop me a message, okay? There's no catch here, I'm not selling you anything. Everything I do with the vlog is all charitable and value giving. So drop me a message, we'll jump on a quick call, and I know that some of the hints and tips I'll give you are transferable to your life, and I know they'll make a huge positive difference in your life. I'm just going past some people. Help is always available. It doesn't cost anything, contrary to what many believe, and it just takes the courage to ask. And it's often easier asking somebody who's a stranger than perhaps someone who's nearest and dearest. So help is there, you just have to ask, and we can get you back on that right path to success. So that's it from me today. As always, if you like this episode, give it a like, comment and a subscribe. Check out the links in my bios to check to whether you want to listen, watch or read this content, and it's all catalogued nice and neatly by playlist, so you should be able to find related content nice and easily. And I'll leave you as always with stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you tomorrow.